On your feet! Get them going!
Good afternoon. An hour late afternoon. Sorry about that. I was supposed to get up and take JoJo to school. Oh, good afternoon, good evening, good morning, whatever the case may be. Welcome to Cross Examinations Live. I'm your host, Mike S. Miller. I woke up just to some terrible, terrible news. My good friend David Williams, his beloved wife Sandra, has passed away. So thank you for your prayers. But the Lord has called her home. We'll meet again, but it'll be, I don't know, is it heaven or is it new heavens, new earth? Again, I get stuck on that thing. But the most important thing is she is with the Lord. And so the prayers aren't for her. The prayers are for David and his family to be comforted in this grievous, grievous time. That's the thing, right? It's the grieving that is the it just changes it, like functionally, it like resets your sensitivity levels. That's a weird way to put it, but like when my nephew died, when my dad died, it was just like, man, we just had this conversation, huh? Like last week. It makes, like, whatever jadedness and, like, you know, hardness you build up, it's like it makes the nerves raw again. You know what I mean? And so, like, the littlest things will make you cry. I remember when, after my dad died, I would just start crying, like, for apparently no reason for like a year. um which is weird. You know how they say that widows should grieve for a year? It was weird. It was almost like the anniversary of his death brought me back to normal. So, like, yeah, Sandra Williams passed away. So I did put the link in. I think I put it in the Discord if you want to help with what would have been home care services, now will obviously be funeral service aid, or whatever bills they have to face. I did what I could. But anyways, yeah, it really does, like, so David is going to be in just a state, and I'm sure it'll be because it's, it's his soul mate. I'm sure it will be longer than a year that he is in just a mess. I remember when my mother-in-law died. um Boy, my father-in-law made some bad decisions. They're not watching. But yeah, it's there's nothing like it. There's nothing like it. I mean, your parent dying. Well, actually, I guess losing a child is like it. But like a parent dying, you're like, yeah, they've been there my whole life. But at some point, you expect the older person to pass away, and so parent dying is at least expected in that sense. But a spouse dying, it's like you always kind of want to hope you go first. I hate to put it that way, but I've had this. I've And this is a very, very strange way to put it, but I've told my wife, I was like, I hope you go first, because I don't think you could handle. I mean, I wouldn't want to handle it, but it's like whoever goes first gets the easy path. And again, this is all so weird and uncomfortable to talk about, But whoever goes first, if you're if you're a believer, if your destination is to be with the Lord, whoever goes first has the easier path, because whoever's left behind has to deal with the grief, and the grief like that is, oof, woof. Literally just had this conversation with your wife. Really? So you know what I mean, right? It's like, I'd want to go first. Tina. See that, Tina, that's being selfish. uh so anyways, yeah, that's what I woke up to. God, I feel so bad for David. I feel so bad for David. And his kids, man. His family is gonna just be, and that was like sort of correlative to that. I was thinking, I don't even remember what I was watching. It was something about war or something along those lines, and how it escalates grievance. It's funny how grievance is primarily the word grieve. So when, like in a war situation, or like the Hatfield and McCoy's kind of situation, right? Where you kill one person, it doesn't become a, the reason things like this can get exponentially out of hand, um, is if you kill one person, you don't just hurt one person, you cause the grief, the insurmountable psychological torture of grief to, in some cases, dozens or hundreds of people, depending on who you kill and how much family they have, how many friends they have. You cause grief for so many people when you kill one person. And then in their grief, through their grievance, they want revenge, and they want to kill the person that killed them at a minimum. Then you turn that around and you cause the grievance and the grief of dozens or hundreds of other people on the other side. And this is how conflicts escalate so very quickly, right? Um, it's not a life for life sort of a thing. It's like a life for life, you'd think it should settle it, but you're just causing more and more grief, and it escalates into like full scale war. It's a vicious cycle. Yeah, it's a vicious cycle. Dark Admiral says, when my ma passed, I was with her, knowing she had requested the pastor to visit her before slipping into a coma was of some comfort, and I feel the Lord was merciful, bestowing peace upon me in this. And that's really the only thing you can pray for is peace for those who grieve. Um, that comfort. My father-in-law, when he was grieving for his son, my brother-in-law passed away long before, when he was like 16. Jesus actually visually visited him in his grief. That was pretty, I mean, I wasn't there, but yeah, he was, pretty epic. You want to hear something funny though? When my dad was in the hospital, not the time he died, but the time, wait, was it the time he died? No, it was the time before. The attack he had before the time he died, which was like the Thanksgiving that year, the year before. 5 months earlier. A call went in to like my church. I was at a Foursquare church at the time. My dad's name is Jerry Miller. And a call, I think my friend put in a prayer request at my church. And there was a gal on the I don't know, the emergency prayer line, whatever they call it. Her name was Jerry Miller. And so she was like, felt like it was like, it's not a coincidence or something, you know? So she actually came out to the hospital and talked with my dad before, when I wasn't even there, or maybe I was leaving at the time, something like that. And I got there and she was leaving, and we talked for a while. But I was like, so he got witness to at that moment. And then I've been through the whole death of my dad thing, and I don't want to belabor that point. But yeah, he got saved, and then right when he got saved, God took him home. So that was something. An eye for an eye leaves the entire world blind. Yes. When you run out of eyes, go for the ears. Kidding. Haha. Here, I pray that I will be with my mama too. She's been in a nursing facility for a little over a year now. I need to check and see if I can set up regular pastor visits for her. Yeah, it's sad when our parents get old, isn't it? Although, this is a freaky thing. So my wife is, she's my wife is only 5 years away. Yeah, from being the age her mom was when she passed away. And I am now just 10 years away from the age my dad was when he passed away. It's so weird to think about. It's like her dad and my mom are still alive. They're in their 80s, but yeah, then they pass away young. This is a funny thing is my mom. We always thought my mom was going to pass away young because her mom passed away when she was like 59, and her dad passed away when he was like 60, 61, something like that. So everyone in the family, including my mom, oh my gosh, is that a freaking waxwing? I don't think I've seen a waxwing this far south. It is really cold. This winds must be causing some sort of crazy. Yeah, cedar waxwings. I used to see those up in I think it's a wax. Geez, it looked like one. Up in San Jose when I lived up there, but yeah, it's way too warm down here for those things. Daggum, that's weird. Global warming, right? Am I right? Oh yeah. So she had always expected, we had always expected, and she had financially planned to be done around her 60s. And then my dad, who's his mother died in childbirth, but his grandmother, my great grandma, lived to be 103, and his dad was still alive, and he was like in his 90s. He was actually 93 when my dad passed. We had expected my dad to live forever. Well, not forever, but like into his 90s. And it's so weird that they totally flipped the script on us. My dad passes away at 63. My mom's in her 80s and kicking. She's at this point, I don't think she's ever going to die, which would be fine. But I don't know, man. Life's weird like that. Life is weird like that. You never know. You never know what you're going to get. So try to stay healthy, people. Try to stay healthy. Avoid doctors. Dead doctors don't lie, and doctors die very young. It's odd, but literally immediately after she passed, I heard the phrase, "To be absent from the body is to be present with Christ," in my head. That's absolutely true. Is that heaven or is that okay? Let's Yes, it is so sad when we're young we think they'll last for I know, right? My mom was only 59. She wasn't that old, but she had health problems for years. Let me guess. She listened to doctors. Yeah, it's sad about Sandra because she had cancer, and they I don't know what I don't know what it was from. I don't know if causality or what. But yeah, I was always sending David like cancer cure stuff, but I mean she had already done chemo, so her immune system was already shot. I don't know if that's the thing, dude. Doctors, they give you this chemotherapy. What does the chemotherapy do? It destroys your immune system, trying to destroy a little bit of cancer in your body. It's so ass backward. I can't believe an entire industry thinks this is a good idea. Yeah. Little birds that look like a cross between a cardinal and a hawk. Yeah, little tuft of little quaff on top of their head. For some weird reason, says Muppet on meds, didn't think death was a thing and lived a very dangerous life. Well, that's called being a teenage boy. If you continue that thought process into your 20s, you're maybe you're not maturing in the right way. I don't know. Oh, that was weird. Another channel opened. Um, da, 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 da. Last Christmas, 2023, the hospital doctor told me my mama had 4 to 6 weeks to live. I told him nobody puts an expiration date on my mama except for God himself. And I meant that. And she's still here. Amen. Amen. That's right. Doctors don't know. Doctors don't know nothing, man. We have something called a tufted titmouse. They are so cute. They too have that little tuft on their heads. Titmice are so cute. They're only like this big. They're like hummingbird sized birds. I'm a little bit of a, and this is so funny because I just read like one book when I was in 4th grade on birds because my friend, I don't even remember his name. What was his name? My friend was like a bird nerd, and he got me into watching birds. So I got either he got it for me or I got myself California Birds book so that I could like recognize all the birds like in the neighborhood and whatever. And so I was pretty well versed on all the Northern California birds. That's why I'm like, I mean, what the heck is a waxwing doing down here? I never see waxwings down here. Like legit. What is up, Lady Celtic Moon? Also, there's so much like to talk about. The freaking fires in LA are crazy. So crazy. Yeah, we have parrots down here, Tina. She says Florida's awesome for wildlife. I read that wildfire because the wildfires in LA are in my mind. We have so many beautiful creatures here, especially the birds. Lots of birds. And then on top of that, that's awesome. Mike, I wish I knew more bird species. Just grab a book, man. Ma'am. Grab a book. It's ma'am. And the other big thing, freaking Wes Huff. The Wes Huff uh, uh, a Joe Rogan interview came out yesterday. I haven't gotten to watch the whole thing. I watched about half of it so far. And dude, you guys know Wes Huff, right? He's gotten so big since he tore that Billy, what's his face, into tiny little shreds. And the Barbra Streisand effect has made him like huge. It got him on Joe Rogan's radar, right? Because I can't remember the guy's name, Billy something. He's like he thinks he's God's gift to linguistics, but Wes Huff, he went on an impromptu interview or debate with Wes Huff, and Wes Huff just left him on a floor like a puddle of goo. And he had already been on Rogan, the Billy guy, and so after Rogan saw Wes Huff dismantle this dude's entire raison d'etre. He invited Wes up on. They had this interview, and then people were freaking out because they hadn't put the interview out yet. And then they finally did yesterday, and man, so based. I gotta watch the rest of that thing. Westhalf is just, he's one of the smartest guys in what do you call it? Christian YouTube. He's not like even, I mean, he does have a YouTube channel, but it's like he's not like a YouTuber. He's got some stuff on YouTube, and he's just, oh man, genius. Dark Air Admiral says, I was worried about you and the family, Mike. I don't really know the geography of Cali, but was hoping you were far away from it. San Diego to Los Angeles is pretty much like southern Georgia to northern Georgia. It's like top of Florida to the north of Georgia. So the distance is there. Yes, he is suing Westhoff for defamation. He should be he should be suing himself for defamation because he looked like such a charlatan, which he is. He's a charlatan, right? Anyone who portrays themselves as the foremost or one of the foremost linguistic experts in a field where real linguistic experts, when challenged by one actual linguistic expert, his entire argument just crumbles like a sand castle being kicked over by a toddler. Just terrible. I mean, it wasn't terrible. It was wonderful. I loved watching it. First real cold day here in Georgia. Miss California weather, but hated the earthquakes. I love earthquakes. I've been through... I lived in San Jose, so I've been through a couple of the big ones. Only one really caused any damage to the house. And then, since I've been in San Diego, we haven't had anything really major in San Diego. Loma Prieta was LA. But again, like I said, I've been through a couple of the big... I was in one in... what year was that? I was in middle school. So it had to be between... '82 and '85. I think I was in 7th grade, so it was probably '84. I think there was an '84 quake. And, duck and cover. It's an earthquake, so get under your flimsy little desk. But somebody came in from outside, and they were saying the fields look like waves. They're like, they could see the earth just... I'm like, whoa. I think you're lying, but that sounds cool. I lived in San Jose, also towards Santa Cruz. Grew up there until the movie. Towards Santa Cruz? You mean Almaden Valley? If you're still in San Jose, then that's Almaden Valley before you get on 17. I lived in Almaden Valley. Right? And then you go up, is it Hicks to get to the 17? Is that right? It's been a while. That's towards Santa Cruz. And then you have to go through what is that little town just west? My brain. Yeah, Hicks Road. What's the town between San Jose and the 17? Oh, is it not San Jose in the 17? Maybe it's San Jose and Santa Cruz, basically. It's a really expensive little town. Starts with a law. I can't believe I'm forgetting this. My friend Matt lives there. I went to Catholic school. I remember the nuclear bomb drill where you'd have to put your head down. Like that'd help. Yeah, we did duck and cover for nuclear. Yeah, well, it's so funny, these kids who don't remember, these kids who didn't, you didn't grow up in the Cold War like Tina and I did. There's Gilroy. No, Gilroy is heading south to, right. You take the 101 to Pacheco Pass exit, and then right Pacheco Pass 163. Is that the 163 off to Gilroy? Oh my gosh! You know what? I have to look at a map because this is going to drive me nuts. San Jose map. Okay, open this. Sorry, this is just my own personal distraction. So Los Gatos. Is Los Gatos in San Jose County? Oh, I think it actually might be. No, that's not right. So, okay, on the way to Santa Cruz, you have to go through Campbell. I used to live in Campbell. My dad's house was in Campbell. The Cambrian Park, and then Monte Sereno, and then Los Gatos. Or were you in Saratoga? Which part? Where'd you live, man? We had Gilroy next to us. Los Gatos. Yes, Los Gatos. The cat, right? Doesn't Los Gatos mean the cat? I used to live in Cupertino. Well, not in Cupertino. Wait, was it Cupertino? I went to Cupertino High School, so maybe it was Cupertino. When my dad, after my parents got divorced, I had to go to Cupertino High School because I got expelled from Pioneer. That's a story for another time because we have to get to the Bible now. Okay, let's open it up. You went to Santa Teresa? No way. That's funny. Wait, what? How old are you? What year? I graduated in 89. I knew people who went to Santa Teresa. San Jose is a very small city, for those of you who don't know. It was I think it was like 800,000 people when I lived there. I don't know what it is now. Oh, we're in Exodus. You're 57, so I'm 53. We might have gone to the same freaking high school parties when I was a freshman and you were a senior. Well, no, I'm 53, but I might have been a sophomore. We were in high school at the same time, dude. We might have been at the same parties. That's so funny. Only out of there until I was 21. Yeah, I moved out when I was 21 too. I moved to San Diego. What was I, 21? In 93. It was 1993 I moved down. So I was going to turn 22 that year, but I moved down right after I turned 22. I know, that's funny, dude. That is so funny. Hey, you remember the Price brothers? Sonny, Alex, and John? They were kind of legendary across San Jose for a lot of fights and stuff. Let's see. Oh, sorry. Exodus 2. No, wait. We're in Exodus 29. 29. This huge, tiny planet. I know. No, but you remember the San Jose Mercury News. Your school played our school. I went to Pioneer High, and we played Santa Teresa all the time. I mean, not that I went to the games, but like a lot of my friends were on the football team. I'm trying to remember who I might have known who was older from Santa Teresa at the time. Did you know anybody from pioneer? Like we're having this conversation while I should be reading the Bible. All right. Did you skate? You know Steve Caballero? Steve was a friend of mine. Oh, wait, who do I know that might have gone? My high school was called Oak Ridge High School, and we were the pioneers. We had a mall called Oak Ridge on Blossom Hill Road, where I hung out all the time. Back in the 80s when people hung out at the mall, remember? No, okay. All right. Let's get on to the Bible. This jaunt down San Jose memory lane is not doing anyone any good. I love to go skating. Used to go Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday every week. Yeah, we thought we were so cool. Little mall rats. Did you go to Oak Ridge? I mean, everybody went to Oak Ridge, right? That was on the way. That was near Santa Teresa. Trying to think. Anyways. Exodus chapter 29. And this is the thing that thou shalt do unto them to hallow them, to minister unto me in the priest's office. Take one young bullock and 2 rams without blemish, and unleavened bread. I was listening to this. Gosh, I hope I can get through this because I think there's a lot of verses. 46 verses. I want to get through this, but at the same time, I was listening to this and I was trying to piece together what the correlations are with all of this and Christ and the sacrifice and what is symbolic and how the symbolism works. And I didn't have time to do the research into it. It's just like while I was going through it, I was like thinking, I'm like, how does this work? And I was like, you know what? I'll try to figure it out while we're doing cross-examination. Let's see if it works. Take one young bullock and 2 rams without blemish. I guarantee that symbolizes something, but I just don't know. Now I feel like I need to research before I do this. And unleavened bread, obviously bread without sin, and cakes unleavened, tempered with oil, and wafers unleavened, anointed with oil. Of wheaten flour shalt thou make them. How specific is that? Unleavened bread tempered with, mixed with oil, and then wafers unleavened but anointed with oil. That has to have correlation. It's so specific that it can't just be like do these random things. These have to symbolize something. I need to look into this and try to understand what the specifics mean. What's up, Jokey? And thou shalt put them into one basket and bring them in the basket with the bullock and the 2 rams. It's so specific. And Aaron and his sons thou shalt bring unto the door of the tabernacle of the congregation, and shalt wash them with water, purify them. Or is that a symbol of baptism? I need to listen to a Chuck Missler video on this. And thou shalt take the garments, and put upon Aaron the coat, and the robe of the ephod, and the breastplate, and gird him with the curious girdle of the ephod. And thou shalt put the mitre upon his head, and put the holy crown upon the mitre. And thou shalt take the anointing oil, and pour it upon his head, and anoint him. Sounds sticky. What? It's pita bread for heroes. P, hello P, says, heroes. Thou shalt bring his sons and put coats upon them, and thou shalt gird them with girdles, Aaron and his sons, and put bonnets upon them, and the priest's office shall be theirs for a perpetual statute, and thou shalt consecrate Aaron and his sons. I like that he doesn't mention the bonnets until after he's anointed with oil. Anoint him, and then put his bonnet on him. Except, what is the mitre? Put the mitre upon his head, put the holy crown upon the mitre. So you got a mitre, you got a crown, and then you put a bonnet on him. So you don't anoint the bonnet, you cover the anointed Aaron with the bonnet. And thou shalt cause a bullock to be brought before the tabernacle of the congregation, and Aaron and his sons shall put their hands upon the head of the bullock. And thou shalt kill the bullock before the Lord by the door of the tabernacle of the congregation. Now he has sticky hair with a hat on it. Right. Hello, Tina and all. Hello, hello. A mitre is a type of turban. So you put a turban on, and then you put a bonnet. I feel like I'm doing you all of you a disservice by just reading this because I don't have the explanations for how all of this stuff correlates. And I know I'm just reading it and I'm looking at it, I'm like, all of this has to correlate. This is so much specific stuff and symbology. And I understand they didn't understand the symbology. They were just doing this by rote. But the meaning of the symbology all has to lead to Christ. And I just really want to know what it all is. I feel like I'm wasting your time. Am I wasting your time? Let's just read it. Maybe you can all go do research yourself, and then we can all talk about it in the Discord. And thou shalt kill the bullock before the Lord by the door of the tabernacle. And thou shalt take the blood of the bullock and put it upon the horns of the altar with thy finger, and pour all the blood beside the bottom of the altar. And thou shalt take... See, now I'm just trying to think through it all. I was like, I don't know, I have time for this. I have to go get JoJo in a little bit. So, the horns of the altar by the finger, and pour all the blood beside the bottom of the altar. See, the blood always, to me, always references Christ. It's the sacrifice. And thou shalt take all the fat that covered the inwards, and the caul that is above the liver, and the 2 kidneys, and the fat that is upon them, and burn them upon the altar. This is the interesting thing to me. So you just take the fat, yummy, yummy fat, the caul above the liver, the 2 kidneys, and the fat on the kidneys, and that's all you burn on the altar. The meat and the skin and the dung, you burn with fire outside of the camp. It is a sin offering. So the fat and everything else is not the sin offering. The flesh is the sin offering. The flesh is the sin. Our flesh causes our sin. That's very strange. Flesh, skin, and crap. Burn it, and you burn it outside of camp, not just outside of the tabernacle, outside of camp. So you want the sin to be not just away from God, you want it to be away from all of the people. That's interesting. No. The meat goes to the people. I don't think this bullock they're talking about they're talking about burning it, not cooking it. Later on, you'll get to a point where they're saying that you cook, you seed the meat, and then the meat is eaten. But this bull is burned in entirety, because obviously you don't eat the poop, you don't eat the skin, you don't eat the flesh either, because you're burning it all together outside the camp as a sin offering. Thou shalt also take one ram, and Aaron and his sons shall put their hands upon the head of the ram, and thou shalt slay the ram, and thou shalt take his blood and sprinkle it round about the altar. So gosh dang it, man, I know this. So you take the blood of the bull and you, with a finger, and you put it on the horns of the altar, but the ram blood you sprinkle around the altar. I gotta know what this means, man. The book is a symbol and is spiritual. I know. It's all symbolic. I need to understand. I'm so curious. I'm gonna watch some Chuck Missler videos later about this. And thou shalt cut the ram in pieces, and wash the inwards of him and his legs, and put them unto his pieces and unto his head. So you cut them up, you wash them, then you put them back together, and then you burn the whole ram upon the altar. It is a burnt offering unto the Lord. It is a sweet savor, an offering made by fire unto the Lord. See, on the bull, it's the fat, the kidneys, the liver. That's your offering to the Lord. The flesh is burned outside the camp. But the ram, the entire ram, once it is washed and made clean and it's unblemished, it is entirely a burned offering to the Lord and a sweet savor. And thou shalt take the other ram. Here's your food. And Aaron and his sons shall put their hands upon the head of that ram. Then thou shalt kill the ram, and take of his blood, and put it upon the tip of the right ear of Aaron, and upon the tip of the right ear of his sons. I wonder if that is symbolic of being a bondservant, because the blood, that's what you would get when you're a bondservant. You'd pierce the ear right to the door of the house that you're serving. I wonder if that is the symbology there of the right ear. And upon the right hand, and upon the thumb of the right hand, I don't understand that one, and upon the great toe of the right foot, I don't understand that either, and sprinkle the blood upon the altar round about it. Thou shalt take of the blood that is upon the altar, and of the anointing oil, and sprinkle it upon Aaron, and upon his garments, and upon his sons, and upon the garments of his sons with him. He shall be hallowed, and his garments, and his sons' garments. So this isn't a lamb, which would be so very clearly symbolic of Christ, because he's called the Lamb. But it is the sacrifice, and the blood is blood. The blood of the sacrifice covers the priest. What is the difference between the ram and the bull? Right? Right? Now, the ram, what's a baby ram? Is a baby ram a lamb? Baby ram a lamb? Sorry. Thou shalt take of the ram the fat and the rump, and the fat that covereth the inwards, and the caul above the liver, and the two kidneys, and the fat that is upon them, and the right shoulder, for it is a ram of consecration. And one loaf of bread, one cake of oiled bread, and one wafer out of the basket of the unleavened bread that is before the Lord. And thou shalt put all in the hands of Aaron and in the hands of his sons, and shalt wave them for a wave offering before the Lord. And thou shalt receive them of their hands, and burn them upon the altar for a burnt offering, for a sweet savor before the Lord. It is an offering made by fire unto the Lord. And thou shalt take the breast of... I gotta understand what the different breads are for. I gotta understand what all this is for. This is driving me nuts that I don't know this. It's Lost Sheep Ministry. Hello. Welcome, Lost Sheep Ministry. I love your icon. Oops. And thou shalt take the breast of the ram, consecration for the wave offering before the Lord. Did I read that already? Yeah. And thou shalt sanctify the breast of the wave offering, and the shoulder of the heave offering, which is waved, and which is heaved up of the ram of the consecration, even of that which is for Aaron, and of that which is for his sons. And it shall be Aaron's and his sons by a statute forever from the children of Israel. For it is an heave offering, and it shall be an heave offering from the children of Israel of the sacrifice of their Lord, of their peace offerings, even their heave offering unto the Lord. And the holy garments of Aaron shall be his sons, hand-me-downs, after him to be anointed therein, and to be consecrated in them. And the son that is priest in his stead shall put them on 7 days, when he cometh unto the tabernacle of the congregation to minister in the holy place. And thou shalt take the ram of the consecration and seethe its flesh in the holy place. Does anybody know what the holy place is? It's not talking about like the Holy of Holies, right? You're not taking it inside the tabernacle to cook it, are you? That's seething. That's what seething is. It's cooking it. Basically, it's boiling it, right? The priesthoods are an incredibly important topic to understand, especially the active priesthood of Christ. I get the feeling you are an LDS member. And Aaron and his sons shall eat the flesh of the ram and the bread that is in the basket by the door of the tabernacle of the congregation. Like I said, Joe, this is where they get the food. And they shall eat those things wherewith the atonement was made, to consecrate and to sanctify them. But a stranger shall not eat thereof, because they are holy. And if aught of the flesh of the consecrations or of the bread remain unto the morning, then thou shalt burn the remainder with fire. It shall not be eaten, because it is holy. And thus shalt thou do unto Aaron and to his sons, according to all things which I have commanded thee. 7 days shalt thou consecrate them. And thou shalt offer every day a bullock for a sin offering, for atonement. And thou shalt cleanse the altar when thou hast made an atonement for it, and thou shalt anoint it to sanctify it. Isn't it interesting? So they had these animals the entire time they're in the wilderness, and they're sacrificing them and complaining about being hungry, but they didn't eat the animals they had to sacrifice. I am not LDS. I am a non-denominational Christian. Oh, that's curious. Just from what you said, it very much sounded like you were. 7 days thou shalt make an atonement for the altar. By the way, also non-denom, actually anti-denominational, but that's another topic. 7 days thou shalt make an atonement for the altar and sanctify it, and it shall be an altar most holy. Whatsoever toucheth the altar shall be holy. Now that's an interesting thing, right? Whatever touches the altar shall be holy. There's so much more to this than I can even get into. Partially because I don't know how to get into it. I need to do study. I need to study this. Like I said, I didn't say this at the beginning of the show. I'm not a pastor, priest, rabbi, teacher, theologian, or anything. I'm just a guy on the internet reading the Bible. All right. Now this is that which thou shalt offer upon the altar, 2 lambs of the first year, day by day continually. 1 lamb shalt thou offer in the morning, and the other lamb shalt thou offer at even. And with the 1 lamb 1/10 deal of flour, mingled with the 4th part of a hin of beaten oil, and the 4th part of a hin of wine for a drink offering. So flour, for Pete's sake. It's my wife telling me to go get my son. Hold on. All right, I do have to leave, so I'm just going to finish reading this and then say good day. We can't call you father? No, only my children can call me father. Before being oil. And the other lamb shalt thou offer at even, and shalt do thereto according to the meat offering of the morning, and according to the drink offering thereof, for a sweet savor, an offering made by fire unto the Lord. This shall be a continual burnt offering throughout your generations at the door of the tabernacle of the congregation before the Lord, where I will meet you to speak there unto thee. And there I will meet the children of Israel, and the tabernacle shall be sanctified by my glory. And I will sanctify the tabernacle of the congregation and the altar, and I will sanctify also both Aaron and his sons to minister to me in the priest's office. And I will dwell among the children of Israel, and I will be their God. And they shall know that I am the Lord their God, that brought them forth out of the land of Egypt, that I may dwell among them. I am Yahweh, the Lord their God. I'm just going to transliterate that for you. Christ is a literal high priest. John, I'm not disagreeing. Not disagreeing, brother. I'm just saying it just smacked a little bit of LDS to me, because I've dealt with a lot of LDS. Well, not a lot, but one in particular, just over and over and over again. So, but accurate. God bless everybody. Got to go get my son. I will see you guys all tomorrow, hopefully on time, for the next exciting episode of. Oh, by the way, do stop in to the Discord. Link is in the description if you want to carry on the conversation. Maybe do a little more deep dive stuff. We'll see you all tomorrow on the next exciting episode of Cross Examination.
Back in line, you dog! On your feet! Get them going!